Will Gray is gassing up on his way to the field. The price of a gallon of gas likely won't surprise Gray. After all, he works in the oil business as CEO of Doral Energy. No one would confuse Doral with the ExxonMobils and Chevrons of the world. Some of the wells Doral operates produce less than 10 barrels a day. But don't be fooled. Doral, it turns out, is listed on the NASDAQ OTC bulletin boards.
So this is Doral's office, the Permian Basin. This is where approximately 22% of the remaining reserves reside within the United States.
Ask Gray why Doral Energy has staked its claim here, and the answer is simple.
We're not an offshore exploration company. We don't look for reserves in exotic locations. We look to find reserves where oil already exists.
Over the past 80 years, the Permian Basin has produced the equivalent of 30 billion barrels of oil. And at Doral, we're confident that there's still plenty of oil left to produce.
Doral's strategy goes something like this. Use its home field advantage to identify and acquire underproducing assets in the Permian Basin. Upgrade those assets using the latest technologies and investor financing. And when it makes sense, drill new wells. Stripper wells, as they are called, slowly strip oil from the earth at a rate of 10 barrels a day or less.
In the United States today, there are over 400,000 stripper wells. Now, true, each of these stripper wells produce less than 10 barrels of oil per day. But in aggregate, these stripper wells produce 335 million barrels of oil a year, which is over 20% of the United States' total production.
Many stripper wells are operated by small, privately owned producers, mom-and-pop operations without the resources to maximize the well's output. That's where Doral Energy's business model is playing a significant role.
We basically have filled a void because the larger independents that operate within the Permian Basin cannot acquire the smaller assets in order to achieve what the analysts are looking for. Doral can.
But more and more, it is technology doing the heavy lifting.
At Doral, we believe that you do not have to use the highest technology available, but only the proper amount of current technology to produce this bypassed oil.
In certain circumstances, Doral Energy will even drill new wells, infill wells as they are called, in close proximity to productive wells.
Most of Doral's production comes from shallow reservoirs that were originally developed on 40-acre spacing. That is, 40 acres were allotted to each well. Over the past 20 years, the industry has proven that these wells actually drain only 20 acres. At Doral, we look for leases that have been developed on 40-acre spacing, which give us the opportunity to exploit the untapped reserves by drilling infield wells between the existing wells on 20-acre spacing. This practice is approved by regulatory agencies in both Texas and New Mexico.
A shareholder would want to invest in Doral for several reasons. First and foremost, we have a seasoned management team. Secondly, it's our business model. The fact that we're looking to acquire shallow, long-life, low-risk reserves that can increase our market valuation exponentially over the next several years by just simply infill drilling.
On the floor of the stock exchange, the oil business may always be about dollars and cents. But when it comes to America's energy policy, Doral officials say what's needed is a measure of common sense.
The ability to participate in our domestic initiative of finding new reserves does not necessarily mean you have to be a major or a large independent. Doral Energy is currently doing this right now. We're actually going out there, acquiring, locating new reserves, and doing this in a very low risk manner. We're looking to find new reserves where oil already exists, and essentially to help wean ourselves off of the need of foreign oil.